You're listening to the LSG Sports Network, the authority on Texas high school football. Welcome to the Texas High School Football Coaches Show on Lone Star Gridiron. I'm Chris Daly, and it's my belief that the men that make up the fraternity of Texas high school football coaches are much more than a bunch of thick-necked guys with whistles. They do so much more than teach technique and the X's and O's of football. They take young boys and change them into young men of character. They get kids to believe in themselves, to trust others, and to put others ahead of themselves. Texas high school football coaches are unique in how they impact the lives of these athletes as well as the generations those kids touch. In this show, I sit down with a different Texas high school football coach each time and learn about them. Not their record, not their on-field accomplishments, but who they are and what they believe and what it means to be part of the greatest sport in the greatest state. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Texas High School Football Coaches Show. I'm your host, Chris Daly, and this is Season 6, Episode 4. Today I have an interview with someone that is a true rarity in Texas high school football, just in terms of how long he's been at one program. I will introduce you to Coach Chris Freytag right after these messages. Hey, if you're involved in your team's fundraising, get this. I was recently introduced to Success Fund, and I was blown away by what it can do. If you're not already using Success Fund to manage your fundraising, you'll really want to check this out. SuccessFund.com. That's Success, F-U-N-D.com. It's not a specific fundraiser, no. Now, Success Fund is a platform with free tools that makes it easy to run whatever fundraiser you're already planning. Sponsorships, donations, camps, clinics, whatever it is. Success Fund makes it 10 times easier. Plus, schools use it to accept Venmo, which is otherwise not an option. Because so many thousands of fundraisers have been through their system, these guys know what works and what doesn't. And they just put out a free high school football fundraising guide. Yeah, you can go and download the guide for free at successfund.com/football. It takes 2 seconds to grab it. Again, you want to be sure to check these guys out. But at the very least, go grab this free football fundraising guide at successfund.com/football.
I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Power Plus Mouth Guard. What is that? Well, it's a mouth guard that helps you perform better and also increases your strength, your balance, your stamina, reduces the G-forces, which are found in concussions. And the way it does that is it aligns your jaw properly. So this mouthpiece not only protects you, but it's going to help you breathe better. And that's really what it comes down to. It puts your airways in a better alignment. And so that helps you breathe better. That helps you have better balance, helps you have better stamina, the more oxygen getting to your brain, the more oxygen getting to your muscles, and that's where this mouth guard can help you. So you can check them out online. Just go to powerplusmouthguard.com. All you have to do is hit / and shop, and they'll show you all the mouthpieces they have. But check them out and check out the website. Dr. Michael Hutchinson is the one who has designed this new technology, and I really do think it is very forward-thinking in helping reduce concussions, in helping you be more alert late in the game when you're going to be tired, your muscles are tired, lack of oxygen is starting to affect you. This mouth guard will help you in getting more oxygen to you. So check them out, powerplusmouthguard.com.
All right, everybody, join me in welcoming Coach Freytag to the show. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. I get to talk football with Texas coaches. You couldn't have a better life.
You can't ask for anything better than that.
That's right. So before I get into what you're doing these days, I want to go way back. When did you discover the game of football as a kid?
You know, my mom tells me that when I was about 4 years old, I really started liking the Philadelphia Eagles and a guy named Ron Jaworski was the quarterback.
Nice.
And they had to buy me a Ron Jaworski jersey because I couldn't wait for them to play the Cowboys and beat the Cowboys. That's what she tells me. So
well, that hurts
say
my
when
heart.
I was probably 4 years old. Yeah, it probably hurts a lot of people's heart. But I guess that's, I don't know why I grew up not liking the Cowboys, but since then I haven't liked them.
That's funny. And those were some great teams. Harold Carmichael was just one of my favorite receivers, even though I love the Cowboys.
Yep. Exactly.
And then when did you start playing as a kid?
You know, we in a small town, we didn't start playing until we were in 7th grade. But of course, at every Friday night football game, we played behind the bleachers, and that probably started when you're in a small town. At 5 years old, you're going to home football games, and you're playing football with older kids and stuff like that behind the bleachers until the principal comes and tells you to go sit in the stands. But football was just a part of life. My uncle was the head coach at Austin Reagan at the time. He's actually in the Hall of Honor. We'd go watch him coach, so it was just a part of my life since I was a young man, real young man.
Well, I tell you, those were a lot of fun games. Those ones under the stands.
Those were the best.
I love it. And then, did you play in high school? Go on to college? How as a player? How far did you go?
I just played in high school. My size was probably the biggest problem. I wasn't very fast, but I was lucky enough to be able to play on some really good football teams and get to play a lot. And it was the greatest time of my life was playing high school football.
Nice. And what team were you on?
I was in Flatonia.
Flatonia. Okay. Perfect. And then from high school, you go off to college. Did you go off to college to be a football coach or something else?
I went off to college to be a football coach. Once I got to college, I thought maybe I don't want to be a football coach. So make a long story short, I just got a history major and a health minor, and right when I got out of college, I kind of kicked around a few things and realized I wasn't real happy. I got a call from David Fine, who was in Flatonia at the time, and said he needed a coach. And I went and got emergency certified and went through all that mess to get certified and became a coach. And the next year I was a defensive coordinator, and about 7 years later I became the head coach. So it was kind of it was just made to happen. And it happened maybe different than most people, but I'm very, very proud of it, and it worked out.
Well, and a lot of people in this profession move around a ton and get a bunch of different positions. So what has your experience been there?
Coach Stein hired me in Flatonia to coach defensive ends. The next year he promoted me to be defensive coordinator, and then the job came open. He stayed there quite a while because it's a really good place. And the job came open, and another coach came in that I knew. I remained defensive coordinator, and then he left, and I got promoted to be the head coach. I haven't had to move around. It's amazing in this day and this time to be able to stay at a place and be the head football coach and athletic director for 13 years.
Wow. Yeah, that is rare.
Fortunate enough to have some really good athletes and coaches and administration and school board to allow that. And when you're successful, if you're winning, everything's good. But, starting out, it was a little rocky getting it going. We weren't very good when I took over, and it took 2 or 3 years to kind of turn the ship. A lot of places do not have that type of patience, but they showed patience and confidence in me and my staff, and I would think, after the run we had, I would think that it paid off for the town and for the school, and of course it paid off for all of us because it was a great run, and we had a bunch of great kids.
Yeah. And how do you think, is that something that you credit you and your staff with as far as building that community patience, or were you just blessed and you walked into a situation where they're like, yeah, take whatever time you need?
Yeah, I think there was a lot, when you take over a team that was 2-8 and they lose all their good players, I think there's a honeymoon period for a couple years. But then, they want to get in the playoffs, and we were close, but we couldn't get in there. But I think we gave them enough glimpse of doing things the right way, our kids getting better, our kids acting better, our kids playing better, our kids doing better academically, that they remained patient and confident. Their confidence in me and the program that we were running eventually took over, and then it just kind of took off. And the other sports besides football were pretty competitive. And so that helped, too, in a small school. We were really good in baseball, and then basketball was decent. And so that all kind of helped. And then, once we started winning in football, baseball was really good. Basketball has been unbelievable. We won some track district championships, and our academics has just exploded to the top-ranked school in the region. And I think that all attributes to, number one, having a good school board that has confidence in the people that they hire, with good superintendents and good stability between school board and administration, and then stability with the coaching staff. I had a lot of guys that have been with me a long time. And you develop relationships with kids in a small school when they're in PE in first and second grade, and they end up trusting you and you trust them. And it's not always perfect. It's not always a bed of roses, but overall, all that formula is the formula to make things successful. And it takes a lot of people to make a school successful academically and athletically.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen with smaller towns, it's different than with the big cities, because you've either got a cliquish group of people running things that you pray are good, or you've got a tight-knit group of people who I guess it comes down to what that school board is, what that community is. And have you found that you just kind of walked into a great situation, or have you seen it change?
I've seen it change. I've been blessed with a really good school board the whole time, and I think it's still really strong. I've seen parents change. I've seen, depending on the year, the last couple of years, I'm just going to shoot straight. We've had some parents that feel their kids are entitled. And and that has changed. And the worst thing those people want to hear is, your son is not playing here. Well, I was brought up just to be honest with people. And when you're honest with people tend not to like you, because you tell them stuff they don't want to hear. And in my situation, I was able to do that, number one, because I had a strong administration. And number two, we had a strong board. And number three, we've been successful. So you have a little leeway to be honest with people. And even though people don't want honesty because it might hurt, that's the only way you can develop a successful program is playing the best kids in the spot they deserve to play, regardless of any social status. And and that, it's not just Flatonia, Texas. It's all over now. And that is one of the reasons why we're having a coaching shortage, is because coaches, and I'll drive around and talk to coaches now, they're just sick and tired of parents butting in.
Yeah. Back in my day when I played, coaches did some things that, in retrospect, I'm fine with it, but they couldn't get away with now. How have you adjusted to the changing kids, the changing things and ways you have to be as a coach? That's a great question. We, for the most part, in Flatonia, Texas,
you could treat kids, I don't want to say bad, but you could get everything you wanted out of those kids and do the type of things you need to do to be successful and not have any complaints.
Right.
You know, in a small school, you have to figure out a weight program that's balanced for all sports, and the main thing is be consistent. Well, one year, you know, I had a bunch of baseball parents say, "Hey, Coach, I don't think this is good for baseball players." So we had to do a clinic for parents to show them all the benefits of the weights that we were doing for kids. Now, the great thing now is a lot of the college coaches are on Twitter showing how much their baseball kids actually lift and the lifts they lift. And so parents have become a lot more silent because now the generation is growing up around weightlifting and stuff like that. You know, that's just an example. You know, it's extremely hard to do certain things, but for the most part, I would say that in Flatonia, Texas, you can treat your kids, you know, in the weight room and on the mat and wherever you're at, the way it takes to be successful, and that's to coach them really, really hard and demand excellence no matter what they're doing. And, you know, even the parents that you have problems with, they let you do that part because they know you love their kids and they know you want the best to get out of them, even though you might not play them where they want you to play them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think now pretty much universally agreed that playing multiple sports is good for you regardless of what sport you're in. But it seems like a lot of kids, a lot of parents want them to specialize. How do you encourage and educate them into keeping them playing in more than one sport? When all things are equal between coaches and players and situations, what is the big difference in a winning program and a losing program? Well, I tell you, I think a big factor is the information you have available as a coach. And our sponsor, Optimum Grading, can do so much to help you have that information. They provide a comprehensive, fully customizable web application designed from a coach's perspective to analyze the players based on what the coach is teaching. By default, players are evaluated from their alignment, assignment, technique, effort, and production result. And through reports, a coach can understand where the player is exceeding and where he is struggling. But as I talked with the founder, what I discovered was what makes this system different than any other tracking system is that it is so customizable. You can decide what's important to you, and you only have to track those factors that you find important. This powerful platform integrates play data with the coach's input on every single play and ultimately allows the coach to run detailed reports to uncover how the players are performing overall and in situational football. It's really good stuff. Check it out, OptimumGrading.com. I tell you, this is a tool that will separate winners from losers. How do you encourage and educate them into keeping them playing in more than one sport?
You know, after we're done working out, a lot of times I'll have 5 minutes to talk to the kids, and then your main sports in that are football versus baseball. Yeah, you get a little basketball here and there, but it's really football versus baseball. And I'll take an example. I'm actually in College Station today. Coach Sloz at A&M, the baseball coach, he made it very, very clear, that he wants two sport athletes at least. Multiple sport athletes are what they look for because those kids know more about highs and lows, you know, doing another sport they might not be quite as good at. And so you don't want just some kid that's really, really good at baseball, but he's never failed. Once they get to college, they're going to fail a lot. And so that, to me, the word out of playing multiple sports is getting out. And really, I haven't fought that like I fought it 10 years ago. You know, and so I think people are waking up and realizing, hey, yeah, my kid can get hurt playing football. My kid can get hurt throwing a baseball. I mean,
yeah.
let the kid be a kid and let the kid have fun. And I think a lot of the college coaches are preaching that, and I think that's helping our profession, be able to reel more kids in playing multiple sports.
Nice. And on when it comes to college recruiting, in the past, we're talking way in the past now, the small schools didn't get noticed as well. Now we've got Huddle, we've got all these things. What do y'all do to make sure that, some of the kids in your class, while they may not be D1, they get looks from some of these colleges?
Well, we send out a lot of film on kids that want to play college football. A lot of the smaller schools that, Huddle does make that real simple. You can just go in the Huddle and kids make their own highlight tapes now. The days of the coach always making a highlight tape and cutting and pasting the VHS is done. Now they just go to the Huddle and they make it, and it's become really simple. And you just type in, email and send it out a mass, text. I Twitter other coaches. Sometimes they get back with me, sometimes they don't. And I'm really got a couple kids right now in Flatonia, Texas, that were seniors this year that can play college football that aren't getting the sniffs I thought they would, no matter how many places we sent them. But you continue to pester coaches. I hate to say that, but you continue to pester, small college coaches to come by and see, look at this film. Please tell me what you think. And the good thing is, most of the time when you have a kid deserving, they're going to get the opportunity and the chance to play college football if the coach does their job and gets them noticed. And sometimes, of course, there are exceptions, but you just keep sending it out. And and we encourage our kids to go to camps their junior year, sophomore year, and start getting noticed, and then to go to elite camps and get all their measurements and stuff like that. So, we do all the things the bigger schools do, just maybe at a smaller scale because, we don't have the resources and the number of coaches. So, I basically take that on myself and send it out and try to make sure kids are recognized and hopefully picked up if they want to play college football.
Nice. And for those kids who maybe aren't going to go on to any kind of post-high school sports, talk about the other intangibles that are taught by the game of football and how you instill that in your program.
Well, I think the number one, everybody says discipline. You have to be disciplined to go to college or go to a trade school or even get a job nowadays. You put in discipline, but I really think that the way we work our kids in the weight room, yes, we have discipline, but all those factors of just hard work and showing kids how the benefits of hard work on their body and what it can do, not just, on the football field, but just look at their body and look at the gains you made and be proud of what you've done and become. That, all that hard work and of course you got to have that dedication and discipline, all that built together, no matter what a kid wants to do, it leads them on. And the failure of not being great on every play during a football game is also big, because we all know in a job you're not going to be 100%. And what I mean by that is you're going to fail no matter what you do. If you're a salesman, you're going to get rejected. If you're a coach, you're not going to get every job you apply for. So there is rejection, and you're not going to turn every kid around. You're going to try, but you can't turn every kid around. And so all that stuff plus failing and learning how to cope with failing is all parts of what sports does for kids and what sports does for kids' futures that don't even go on to play, any college sports.
Right. So it sounds like you're not a fan of everybody plays, everybody wins.
Not at all. I mean, in our lower levels, yes, I'm a fan of everybody getting to play.
Yeah.
Because I want those young kids to play. But when you get on the varsity level, there's a reason why people are playing. There's a reason why people aren't playing.
Right.
And when you're up by a lot of points and everybody gets to play, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't ask for nothing more than that, and it's a great feeling for everybody. But when you're not, when you're in a tough, tight game, you can't do that. You got to win. This is the state of Texas, and winning's important, and winning is important for kids.
Right.
You know, it's not just important for coaches' jobs, but it's important for kids, and it brings out a pride to community and to a town, and that's all important. And that's just what it is, man. When you play the game to win.
Amen. And talk about some of the relationships. You've been coaching long enough now that you've got kids that have gone on, got married, had kids. Talk about some of those relationships and the lifetime value of those.
Oh, man, that's the greatest part of coaching is developing relationships. My offensive coordinator, I coached him in high school.
Nice.
He went on. He went on and went to college and got out, and I actually let him student teach for us and volunteer coach because he was student teaching. And then we had a job opening, and we hired him on. He became our offensive coordinator. He's done a wonderful job. He actually got married Saturday. I was at his wedding. I was a witness. Me and my wife were a witness for his wedding. That's how much I think we mean to him and he means to us. And yesterday he went to his first head football coaching interview. He knocked it out the box. He called me right away. We talked about it. You know, he understands that it's hard to get that first job. And I just told him, man, you know, I hope you get it. But don't get down if you don't. Just keep plugging away because he's a really good young coach that does a wonderful job. He's a wonderful person. That's just one example of hundreds of examples of people that have played for me, and I still keep in touch with, maybe not daily or weekly or monthly, but still you see them and you hug each other, and maybe that wasn't a perfect relationship in high school, but when they're carrying their little baby around with their wife, you know you had something to do with that, and you can't ask for in life. You know, money's great, but teaching people and being an influence, a positive influence on young people, and then you see them grow up to be successful. Money has nothing to do with that. It's all about, you know, that pride and knowing that you blessed somebody and they blessed you and they're going to be successful. That's what life's all about.
Amen. I love that. And around the country, you see this trend towards building these super teams everywhere, where you know private schools are going crazy, and then they're already talking about NIL going to high school kids. What do you think are some of the biggest dangers to Texas high school football as we know it?
Boy, you know, if we allow NIL into high school, which I hear is coming, if UIL allows that, it will become just like college. It will become a bidding war, and your good players, especially from small towns that don't have a lot of money and big business, are going to be offered. You know, we'll give mom a job, and you're going to be able to move to Houston and play over here with these guys and get noticed and do this and do that and be on a very good team. And we're going to pay for this, and this. Man, I just really have a problem with that. And NIL in college is bad enough. It needs to be regulated. Somebody needs to step up and regulate it, but do not allow that in high school athletics, or it's going to be awful for all athletics, but especially football in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
anytime you do something that California does, it's probably not going to be good.
I love that. That's one of the things that makes Texas so, I guess, the gold standard in the country is the way we do it, the way the UIL tries to police things and keep things fair. But you're right. I think if that happens, especially small towns, it just goes away unless it's a small town with a ton of money just sitting there.
Correct. And, I mean, right now you can't recruit. You can't, if they have all these rules on transferring to new schools and doing this and doing that, that'll all go away because they won't be able to control it. Just like the NCAA can't control it. Texas high school football may be worse. And that's crazy to say or think, but man, I mean, go to state games. Look at the pride in those schools. Look at what South Oaks Cliff and PNG brought this year to one game. 40,000 people. I mean, it means a lot. And so, if you can get that one or two players that can come in and help you win a state championship, hey, it ain't nothing to raise $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to get that done. Right.
Well, gosh, I hate to end things on a negative note like that, but let's talk about instead your future. What do you see down the pipe for you?
Right now, I'm taking a little time off, clearing my head. I'm not going to lie, I had a little burnout, not from the kids and not from football, the game of football, just dealing with a lot of different stuff for a while. Had a little burnout, so, I'm clearing my mind. I'm working for a fundraising company called Team Funded. I still get to go around and visit coaches. I just walked out of Bryan High and saw Coach Tullis, Ricky a while ago, great guy. And I'm, having that opportunity to still stay in it. And, people are still contacting me like, hey, man, of a young coach that'd be good. And I'm helping in those aspects. And I can see myself after a couple of years wanting to get back in it. I want to go a little bigger next time, bigger school if that does happen. And I've had some calls on some really good jobs. Been hard to say no, I'm not going to come interview, but that's part of it. I got to take care of myself first, my health first. Try to be a better husband. Try to be a better husband, not because I'm a bad husband, just because I ain't had time to be a husband, if that makes sense. Sometimes, and spend a little time with my dad. He's getting older, and then reevaluate things in a year and make sure I'm still happy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna miss it. But I'm still gonna be a part of it, and I might even do some officiating and stuff like that. But I'm gonna reevaluate myself every year and make sure I'm doing what I want to do. And if not, you'll be calling me in a couple of years, and I'll be head coach somewhere.
I love it. Well, Coach Chris Freytag, I want to thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with me and sharing a little bit of your insight.
Yes, sir. I really appreciate the phone call.
Did you play Texas high school football? If you did, you're part of an elite group, the Brotherhood of Texas High School Football. All football players, past and present, who have ever suited up in the Lone Star State are eligible. Go to LoneStarGridiron.com/brotherhood. And thank you for the part you played in the greatest sport in the greatest state.
Until next time, I'm Chris Daly, and we'll see you at the game.